Hi, everybody. Welcome to Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. I'm Tasha.
And I'm Nikki.
She is Nikki, and she is now a permanent host of Whiskey, Wine, and Writing because she's awesome like that. You know, off the light back there, but whatever. You guys get to see my bedroom. I'm not into it at all. Also, I'm very sneezy tonight. My allergies are going bananas, so if I mute the mic and I just start sneezing like crazy, and you just see. I promise I'm not sneezing. Or seizing. I am sneezing. And Nikki here is sleepy. So we've got sneezy and sleepy. We need 5 more, and we're the 7 dwarfs. Okay? Okay, who wants to join? Anybody? No? Okay. So, tonight we have a great show planned because Nikki, who is not only doing her first official co-host, permanent spot here on Whiskey, Wine, and Writing, because she's been a guest host before, but now she's a permanent host. But she also has some fantastic news, and I'm going to let her be the one to share it.
Today, I officially signed with my agent, Carrie Howland, at I'm not good at saying the name of the agency, but it's fabulous. She says it fancy.
For the first name, we're kind of a little bit unsure. So I'm going to be the one to say it because at least this way, if I say it wrong, at least I look like the ass, not the actual client of the agency. So we're going with Donadio because to me it sounds like a very Italian name. So Donadio
and Olson.
And Olson. Yeah. So yes, and for those of you who don't know, this is the same agency that reps Chuck, and this is another name that's very hard to say, Palyanook, who is the author of Fight Club and Guts and so many other fantastic stories. So our most wonderful, awesome Nikki is repped by that same agency, and that is freaking awesome. I'm sorry.
I guess I'm kind of like my agent's brother, so we're related now, kind of.
I don't know. Chuck might find that weird. I'm normally whiskey, but tonight I'm wine, just so you all know. I'm sneezing too much.
And I'm still water.
She's still water. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. So this all came about because, and it's really funny because the show itself came about because of Pitch Wars, and we've said it before that it was originally me and another author, Tiffany Howland, and we were nervous about the competition, so we started a Google Hangout, and then we just decided to make it live randomly. Well, Brenda Drake, who hosts the competition, came on, and it kind of blew up from there. And Tiffany still comes on from time to time, but she's got a lot of real life stuff going on, as can happen. And she still comes on from time to time, and we love having her on. And but Nikki here was one of the lucky few who got picked to be a mentee for the mentors and went through the modeling editing. I mean, the girl. I'm putting that out there.
It was like every night. Every night I was working on this. It was another full-time job.
And it paid off. But the point I was going for is that Pitch Wars makes such a huge difference in writers' lives. And, whether you get picked up because of it or not, you've got now new experience, you've got new insights, you've got a lot of more information than you had before you started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, the biggest thing I felt like Pitch Wars taught me, though, was how important the writer community online is. Because that was something I was just kind of wading in the shallow end of the pool, trying to figure out this whole thing. And I mean, it really takes a village to raise a book baby. It was honestly the reason why my agent Carrie found my entry on Pitch Wars was because my mentor's best friend tweeted it, and her agency sister, who's also rep by Carrie, tweeted it as well, and then Carrie saw the tweets.
I hear it. I just don't know if it's you or me because I don't have YouTube up, do I?
I don't see anything.
Okay, well, I heard it, but apparently I'm going crazy. So go ahead.
Let me check real quick, because I did have that one.
I don't hear it anymore, so it was probably one of mine. I just closed out all my tabs because I had so many tabs open. I couldn't find it. I probably left it open somewhere.
Anyway.
Sorry for the feedback, guys.
But yeah, so I think, because I mean, you and I met through the writer community too.
Very lucky to have met somebody as awesome as Nikki, seriously.
I feel so blessed to have met you two because I mean, I loved watching your show. I watched it every time you guys went on during that like application process because I just thought, what a cool concept. And I would fold my laundry and put you up on the big screen and be like, this is just so great to listen to other people talk about writing because a lot of times I think writers think writing is a solo activity or event and it's just you have to be by yourself and never let anyone read your things until you make it big. But really, it's all those other eyes and the connections that really make a difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, that even goes for another subject that we wanted to touch base on tonight, which was NaNoWriMo. A lot of people for NaNoWriMo won't go to, generally your region has a write-in, or at least one close to you. If not, they usually have a virtual chat room where you could talk with other writers and stuff like that and get motivation. So they say writing is a solitary process, and maybe once upon a time that was true. I don't particularly think it is anymore because of the networking and the community and the support you find with other writers.
It's very true. Like, I mean, just the other day I was talking up your novel to someone. And, I mean, you know, you never know. You just never know.
No, you don't. You know, things, you know, you find things in so many different ways, so many different aspects, and, you know, the internet and being online and social media, it brings so much more to our fingertips that was not even available 10 years ago, you know? So definitely learn to take advantage of that.
For sure. And that's what Pitch Wars was really. It was, I mean, it was more than the cool opportunity that got my book out there. It was a chance to connect with so many cool people like Brenda. And I would have never met my mentor who lives on the other side of the country from me. And she's fantastic, and I don't know what I would have spontaneously combusted without her the past 2 weeks, 2 months even. Like, she made a big difference.
I know. Brenda is fantastic. I don't know if you guys went and looked at our old episodes, but Brenda came on the first night we started doing it. She got word that we were just doing it to talk about the competition and was kind enough to, you know, take her time and come on. And we totally want to have her on again. I'm just putting that out there. We want her on again because we love her, and she is like a guru when it comes to this community. She is fantastic. So if you don't follow her. And if you haven't been to her blog, go to her blog, seriously. Actually, speaking of Nikki, aren't they doing another pitch event?
Yeah, PitMad is coming up early December.
Yeah, what's all that about?
PitMad? Oh, it's, you know, the Twitter pitch party where you make a Twitter pitch with your premise in 140 characters with also your genre. You tag it with the hashtag PitMad. And you hope an agent sees it in the feed and favorites it. I have never had success with that one, so I think anyone who can get that to the perfect 140 characters, I'm always super impressed. My friend Emily has done pretty well with those.
You know, and when it comes to that, I know a lot of people, like, agonize over that, but guys, I will tell you that the last time they had one, and I don't think it was through Brenda, I think it was just a AdPit one where they do it, I got 4 requests. So, you know, sometimes winging it isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying always wing it, but I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't have any prep time. And I was like, oh, crap, I didn't know about this. Oh, well, let me just wing it and see what happens. I got 4 requests, so you never know what could happen if you don't know what's going on, if you can't, like, prep right away. Don't be afraid to just throw it out there. The worst that's going to happen is nobody's going to favorite your tweet. That is the worst that will happen.
Which really isn't that bad, to be honest. And now we have, you know, told you about it, so there's no excuse. You should start, you know, workshopping your tweets now. And there's tons of events going on working on these pitches, so you should just join a community and get some feedback. And you can have like 20 different pitches and tweet them throughout the day. That's the beauty of that too. It doesn't have to be the same tweet.
Generally, especially if you're going to schedule tweets, make sure you have 4 or 5, and that if you are hashtagging PitMad? I'm sorry? PitMad. If you hashtag PitMad, change the location of that hashtag because it'll think that it's spam after like the 2nd or 3rd time.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, I learned that the first time I did PitMad, actually. I was like, oh, well, that didn't work. Because, like, half my tweets didn't go through because I was in class, so I just let it go through because it's generally once an hour that you can do your tweets. So you have to just move around the hashtags because you can do, like, hashtag PitMad and then hashtag, you know, what is it, like A-rom for adult romance, they generally have the genre tags as well. Just make sure you switch them up if you schedule it so that Twitter does not think, like I use TweetDeck. So you got to make sure you change it on there so that it doesn't think you're spamming.
And I just got a nice message reminder from my new agency sister, Rachel Simon, who's fabulous. Totally go follow her.
Hi, Rachel!
Her hashtag is RachelWrites007, and she wanted to remind me that she found our agent through PitMed as well. Was it this year? This year. And also another one of our agent sisters came on from that way.
There you go.
The magic is happening.
It does, and the more you're in the community, the more connections you make. And I have met so many wonderful people between Brenda and then Rhonda Helms is coming on Monday night. She was supposed to be on tonight, but, you know, a family thing came up, and that happens, and that's cool. So me and Nikki said, okay, we'll just talk about her awesome signing news tonight and do a second episode Monday night. So you're actually getting 2 episodes in 1 week from us.
We'll be well rested for that one, actually, you know.
And hopefully I won't have allergies because right now, you know, I feel like I'm Rudolph with the red swollen nose, but it's okay.
You know, the ambiance of pixelated webcasts makes you kind of, you know, nice and even. You look gorgeous. Also, guys, if you are watching through Google Hangouts, there is a feature that we allow live questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we will do our best to answer them. I'm not saying it's going to be the perfect answer. We are by any means experts on the subject, but we do try to answer as best we can, and if we don't know the answer, we put it out there for somebody who does to come back and help us. So kind of like an Ask Agent, but we're not agents. We're just 2 chicks doing a webcast. Ask 2 chicks. That's a great hashtag.
Ask 2 chicks. I like that.
Because, I mean, you know, I don't think anyone could be an expert at these things because everything is so subjective and everyone's journey is so different. Because, I mean, I was plowing through blog after blog trying to figure out how to handle the past 2 weeks from the end of agent round to querying to getting my first offer to getting my 7 calls. And if it wasn't for other authors in those blogs, I'd be completely lost. And even after being on 7 calls, I don't think I'm an expert on the call at all. I just tried my best.
But actually, I do want to talk about that in a minute, about your calls and what you experience with that, so we can give our viewers just a little bit of idea of what to expect with that. But first, I kind of want to announce that on top of Nikki being the new permanent co-host, so I don't have to, you know, look like I'm talking to myself if something goes wrong either with the guest host or you know, the guest period. We have taken Whiskey, Wine, and Writing and put it on its own platform. It's no longer going to be found on my blog. My blog will just be my blog. And Whiskey, Wine, and Writing, you can be found at whiskeyWineWriting.com. We also have a Twitter, www.writing, or at www.writing, you know, for Twitter. And our Gmail is whiskeyWineWriting.com. I wanted to do everything www.writing, which would make, unfortunately, it's taken in some aspects. So it's either www.writing or Whiskey Wine Writing. So website Whiskey Wine Writing, and then Twitter. We also have a Facebook, which I think is www.writing, right? For the Facebook, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's www.writing.
Still under construction.
And everything is still under construction. You guys remember my cousin Erin Feldman of Erin Feldman Design? She did one of the prizes for the Pitch Wars reveal. She's going to be doing everything for all the graphics and everything for it. However, she was in a car accident. Thank goodness she's okay. But, you know, she's recouping. Even if you're okay, you tend to be sore and all that good stuff. So she's catching up with work and everything like that and dealing with her car. So she's going to make us graphics for the site and everything like that and put it all together for us, though. So that being said, welcome to the new Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. Hopefully one day I'll have an office and you won't have to see my bedroom. Though I do love my bedroom.
And when we have that conference we were talking about last week, I'm already excited about that, you know.
Yes, Nikki has big hopeful dreams of us having a Whiskey, Wine, and Writing conference one day, you know, where we have all the agents and the authors and everything like that. And, you know, apparently you're going to have to be 21 or older because otherwise you can't, you know. Well, I guess you don't have to be, you just can't drink. But whatever. So, but back to your awesomeness, because really I do want to celebrate the fact that Nikki has got an agent. It is such fantastic news. I've been, okay, we're going to just put it out there that I was a little privy to some of this stuff before everybody else was because, you know, I was. And I'm just sitting here behind the scenes squealing like I want her to tell everybody because it's such fantastic news. I mean, ask her, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. And I was, or am, really. But I don't know, even for me, it's just a lot of pressure off that you're able to tell people. So I can only imagine what it feels like having gone through this last week for you with having to make this mind-blowing decision and finding the fit that's right for you. You know?
It was, I can't even, the stress level I felt was like, here was my stress level before my wedding, and here was the stress for picking an agent. It's not even in the frame. And I told my husband, like, don't be offended, but I feel like picking an agent was harder than picking you. And it was, it just was. But I mean, I had such amazing offers, and I couldn't believe it. Every time I got to go on the phone, I was just so blown away. But I learned really quickly, every single agent is different, and every agency is different. And you really just need to get to know the agent. And I mean, they were all awesome. It wasn't like I had any bad offers, and it was so bad. You saw me Wednesday night when I was like, I can't decide, because I was just like weighing all the options. And the best part, I guess, best and worst part, was the first thing you usually talk about is they say something about how much they love your book and what they want to change about your book. And if they want to change it. There was actually one person who didn't really want to change much about my book. And I heard 7 different visions for where my book could go revision-wise. And it was awesome to hear all these different perspectives. But after a while, I was like, I have 7 different versions of my book right now in my head, and I had to figure out which one was the one to go with.
Was it a little bit kind of like you were schizophrenic with so many different personalities?
Yeah. Because there were a few things that were similar.
By the way, I didn't want to tell you anything, but somebody else is here to say hi to you and stuff.
Yay, Jeff!
I'm so proud of you.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm so proud of you, Nikki.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
She didn't want me to tell you that she was going to show up tonight to tell you how proud of you she was.
I saw a blinky thing in the corner, but I'm like, I don't know how to work Google Hangouts, so I don't know what that is. It was you coming.
That's me entering the atmosphere. Hi, everybody else who's watching Whiskey Ryan and Writing. I love you too, but I came here for Nikki tonight. Sorry. But hi, everybody.
It's a party because we're celebrating the fact that this most awesome, wonderful woman has been signed. And trust me, when her book comes out, you will read it and you will adore it, and then you're going to be like, I can't even say it because it'll just give it away. But yeah, because Nikki knows what I'm talking about.
Don't tell the secrets of my book.
I'm not.
No trade secrets. It's not allowed. It's not allowed yet. She just got signed. You'll ruin the whole publication bid if you're going to trade secrets.
So, but yeah, so Tiff is here with us now, and we were just talking about what a grueling week this has been for Nikki trying to deal with choosing an agent.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but better you than the rest of us. I'm seriously like, I think like my number one fear of writing books is like not having more than one agent to choose from. Like only one person likes my book.
I'd be happy with one.
I'm not gonna lie, I've heard the best. I almost compare, you know those love stories where your grandparents are like, I saw her when she was 16 years old and she was the one and we were married forever. And you're like, that's the best story ever. Why did I date 20 different people? I felt like that I wanted that love story, which like you meet your one agent, because I've heard so many cool stories about that. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm dating all these different agents, and they're all fantastic, and they all have different things to say. And I mean, there were some nights I had like 2 calls in the evening, and my husband's like, are you gonna have dinner with me at some point? I'm like, apparently I'm just never gonna eat again. I have to research things.
We have writing stuff to discuss, honey. I'm sorry. Dinner's on hold.
Because it wasn't even the agents too. I had to you had to call the clients And I emailed a lot of them. I called them. I just, really digging deep and doing as much research as possible to make sure it was the right choice.
Now, that being said, having gone through all this, are some tips you would give people who are in the process, who have multiple offers from different agents? What's some of the advice you would give them in choosing an agent?
Well, the number one piece of advice I got was to trust my gut, which I didn't know what it meant until it finally came down to the wire, and so I just went with my gut, and it was the biggest relief I ever felt in my life. And by your gut, it's the person you connect with, because it's not just, get a good agency to put out my book, because let's be honest, there's a lot of great agencies out there. If you do your research and query the right agencies, you couldn't go wrong with any of them. There's a lot of great ones out there, but you want someone you can really work with, who gets your vision, who has the same ideas for your career, and has the enthusiasm for your book that you want.
Yeah, choosing an agent is a lot like choosing a spouse.
Yes. You were saying that.
Because if you think about it, I mean, divorcing your spouse is just as difficult as firing your agent, because then you would have to find a new one, and that's just, for a lot of people, that's no fun. So you don't want to do that.
Which apparently happens more often
the first time around. What did you say, Nikki?
I said I heard that actually changing agents happens more often than you would think, which I didn't know. And,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and because someone was, as I was freaking out about this past 2 weeks, another author friend shared that with me, and actually it was interesting because apparently relationships grow over time. So don't be like me, who at one point thought I had to find the agent I wanted to be with for the next 50 years, because it doesn't have to be that severe. I mean, I hope I'm with Carrie for as long as I'm an author, for sure. I think we're going to work great together, and I'm really excited. But there's no need to put undue stress and pressure on the decision.
Yeah. So one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is, and I didn't even know this, that there is a happy little list of questions that you can ask the agents to, find out if they're a good fit for you. It's not all, oh, hi, I like your book, sign with me. You want to ask questions and see how you fit with this agent or these agents to help you decide who you want to represent your book.
I actually have a Word doc on my computer somebody sent it to me, I don't remember who, from AQC. It was one of the published authors that we were friends with there, and it's 40 questions you should ask an agent before signing. And it's literally just this whole Word doc of things to ask.
I don't think it was that long.
But it's all, I read over it, it's a lot of questions, but I think even if you only ask all of them, it's questions that, unless you know the publishing world, you probably wouldn't, first-time authors like us wouldn't think to ask any of these things, but if you think about it career-wise, they're important things to ask, so it's good to have some kind of little list of things you should probably ask an agent.
So Nikki, what questions did you ask?
Well, first, I found a list that was that long too, and I ended up getting really overwhelmed because I realized I didn't know what an escrow was, and I started freaking out because I was like, I never asked anyone about an escrow, and then I apparently failed all my calls because I never mentioned that word, and turns out it's not as important as I thought it was, so it's a non-issue. And someone, my mentor actually, she said that a lot of those questions that are on these kinds of lists out there, if you search, you can find a lot of the answers on your own, which is really nice to do before the call, because then you have a good grounding in what agency and agent you're talking to.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm dealing with tissues and runny noses on the air, but whatever.
Better. My list of questions came from someone from a writing community who just had her agent too. Another reason why you should join writing communities, because this was a lifesaver. Because it was a slightly smaller list than the ones online that were overwhelming me, and I was able to weave it into the conversation organically without feeling like a bullet point list. But the first question I always talked to was after they told me about their revision ideas. Sometimes I actually had to ask. It really depended on the agent how they wanted to do it, but usually the first thing they did was, oh, I loved your book, here's my idea. And then the first question I came up with was well, did someone come to mind that you wanted to pitch it to? And usually it's just a vague answer, but you want to know if they're actively thinking about where this could go, what kind of publishing house, do they have contacts at these publishing houses, things like that. And it was a nice conversation starter. And then I moved into things like, how do you best communicate with your clients? And actually, Carrie's, one of the things she said was, I would do smoke signals. Don't worry, you can get a hold of me. I thought that was really adorable. I thought, okay, I like it when she's willing to do smoke signals.
What? We're going to go with the old Morse code.
Morse code.
Sorry.
It's going to be the first thing that I ask an agent as far as my career goes. Is my vulgar attitude going to be a problem? First
and that was actually one of the questions, not phrased like that, but it was, what do you expect from me as a client? And a lot of those answers were relatively the same, but generally it's, this is just how they want you to behave professionally, if they're more loose in that regard, how quickly they want you to get revisions hammered out. Like some people were like, oh, I don't want to pressure you, so as long as it takes. And some people are like, oh, we can set a deadline and have goals. And it really it's matching the personality with the agent, because really you need to have that level of relationship with them, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then one of the coolest advices I got, which wasn't on my list, but from my mentor and her friend, was to always ask for if you could talk to their clients, and preferably one with a book deal and one who doesn't have one yet. That way you can see both sides of clients. And it was actually so cool to meet so many different authors who were working with these agents, and it was probably the most fun part of the entire process.
I'm sorry, ignore me. I was trying to fix my hair while we're
Did
here
Tasha
talking.
What about your hair for? You look good, shush.
Nikki, I'm gonna cut my hair. What do you think?
Go
Okay.
for it, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah,
See,
y'all
somebody.
might as well get used to these long locks, because as of December 1st, they're gone.
Oh, so lame. Am I gonna be the only
I
person
miss
with long hair?
Yeah, you're gonna be. I'm done. Like right now, I'm ready for my short locks. I'm getting rid of it. So
I will never
I
cut my
have
hair.
short
Guys.
hair as of December 1st.
I'm kidding. I will never cut my hair. I will dye it all types of funky ass colors for you guys, but I will never cut it off. I look like an Oompa Loompa when I have short hair. It's terrible. So terrible.
I have not actually done anything like this before, so it'll be fun. I like doing different things, and I also think that applies to writing, and I'm just going to put that out there. Do different things with your writing. Don't be stuck in a formulaic circle of writing and get scared of writing certain things.
Or just stop writing, like I apparently have.
Yeah, well, I've been getting on her case about that, by the way.
You're very right, though. I mean, I thought I was a sci-fi author. I am terrible at sci-fi. It's not good. And as I was getting my sci-fi edited by a really good friend of mine, she goes, you sound like your male character sounds like a 15-year-old girl. What is up with that? So I wrote a book with the voice of a 15-year-old girl, and now I got an agent.
Awesome. But you know what? At the same point, I was talking to Nikki and Tiff actually about this. I feel like I can't write first person to save my life. I can write third person. First person, I'm like, I look at my first person text and I'm like, what was I thinking? Let me just lose my mind. And I go back and I just start it over in third person.
See, and
at least I try. I try before I change it.
Because we're opposite in that way. Because I can write first person really well, but when I try to write third person, I just feel like an idiot, and it doesn't feel right. I'm just like even when I read it back to myself, I'm like, this feels shitty. Like this needs to be in first person because I said so.
So, and then Nikki wrote a sci-fi book with the voice of a 15-year-old girl, and then she wrote a book about a 15-year-old girl, and now, look at that, she landed an agent. So sometimes, these gems just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my weekend. My kids are home. They're being very clingy this weekend. So, say hi.
Hi, Tasha.
That's Miss Nikki.
Tasha.
Hello.
Yeah, that's that other face down there is Miss Nikki. There she is.
Hi, Miss Nikki.
All right, go ahead in the living room and watch Gremlins.
One more thing.
Come here. Gotta back up so they can see your face, darling. No, if you guys don't go in there and sit down, Okay, go watch Gremlins.
What's that?
It's Gremlins. Go watch
So,
Gremlins.
I know your phone's blowing up over there.
Whose phone?
Your phone.
Yes, it's kind of vibrating off the table, because
I
my
have
coworker stared at me like, "What are you doing today? Your phone
So-
sounds really sketchy."
I know this last week has been really stressful for you, but tell us a little bit, you know, as a person who had multiple calls of people wanting to represent you, tell us a little bit of the downside of that so that people can understand that it's not just a good thing. Tell us a little bit about the downside.
Well, the downside, like I said earlier, probably was listening to the 7 different versions of my book, because I don't know, it was like an avalanche of, well, also when you get an offer, you have to nudge all your queries, and it sounds great, getting 7 offers, and it was, I'm not complaining, but I queried more than 7 people, and it was like rejection, 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 rejection. Like a month's worth of rejections in probably 2 days. I was like, no one loves me. And you're talking to these agents, and a lot of them are like, oh, you write great, this is awesome, your voice. That was probably the one thing they said was like, oh, we love your voice. And then they'd point out the other issues. So by the end of the week, and it was because I was overtired and overwhelmed, but by the end of the week, I'm like, they're all lying to me. My book is awful because there's all these problems with it, and 7 different important people have all these different problems with it. And finally I had to step back and realize, no, my book is great. That's why this is happening. I just needed to figure out what I wanted to do for the future of my book. And all the suggestions that they had, none of them were bad, honestly. Like, a lot of them, like, half the time I found myself agreeing with almost everything people said. There was maybe, like, 1 or 2 things I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never heard that before, and I'd be terrified to do that. But I'm always really open to revisions anyway, and that's probably my problem, because I'm usually, like, really, oh, that's a great suggestion, let me apply it. And there was no way to apply all these suggestions to my book. A lot of them contradicted each other. My favorite was one agent was like, oh, I love all your characters, except this one. This one needs a lot of work. The way, something like that. And then the next person was like, I love this character. The rest of your characters need a lot of work.
Which
and it was the
same
character, one that and one that they hated. And
how subjective. I said that all comes back down to what we've been saying all along on how subjective this industry is.
Yeah, and honestly, it really opened my eyes to that, and how there really is no right or wrong way. And like I said, I really loved hearing all their suggestions. It was hard. It was really hard figuring out which way to go, and I'm glad the direction I'm going in now, and I'm really grateful for everyone really willing to take a chance on me. Like, that blew me away. I feel like this is a weird episode of Inception, and I'm gonna wake up snoring soon.
I had to remind Nikki, because she was like, I think there was a point where she was like, I don't understand why this is happening. And I'm like, what do you mean? You've been working your ass off day and night for months. And I mean, literally, day and night, she was exhausted working on this manuscript, on the edits, getting it ready for the final round of pitchwork. I'm like, you earned this. Everything you did was because you worked your ass off for it.
Literally, you probably have no butt now, do you?
Yeah, it's very flat sitting all the time. I kind of roll over like Humpty Dumpty. And I probably gained 1,000 pounds from Ben & Jerry's. Curse you for making editing easier. Actually, the other night, when I was having my, coming down to the wire making decisions, I Skyped with Tasha, and I literally was just stuffing my face with Ben & Jerry's. Just be like, so this is what's going on.
Ben & Jerry's while we talk. Is it okay? I'm like, Nikki, calm down. She's like, don't think I'm a horrible person. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest part, because I've never had to reject anyone before. Usually I get the rejections, and I'm pretty comfortable with getting rejections. I'm used to it. It's pretty nice. It's like, oh, yay, another rejection. That's progress. This time I had to send the rejections, and I probably was, mourning over each one of these emails, being like, please don't hate me. I want to be your friend. And I would send them off, and it was really nice understanding, but I seriously agonized over each and every letter, and I personalized them all, trying to be like, this is why I like you. You're so nice, and I'll meet you at a conference someday, and we'll get coffee, maybe.
So, can we ask, and it's okay if you don't want to talk about this, just say no, what was it that, out of all these people, made you choose Carrie? Can you tell us that? Is that
Sure.
something you can pinpoint or you can quantify, or?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I like Carrie. She really is the whole package from, really connecting with her to just a great agency. She has a great background. She has great experience. All her clients love her. There's a great stuff. But what it came down to, I guess, was her vision for my book was just beautiful. And it really touched me how much she loved my book and connected with it. And my favorite part is probably she was talking about revisions, and she goes, "Oh, and the biggest thing I'm worried about is X, Y, and Z." And I was like, wow, from the time I started writing my book, that has been my greatest concern too. And the fact that that was her greatest concern, and she wanted to make sure that my greatest concern was met, and I never even told her that. That was like her edit note. It blew me away, and I thought, well, we're already on the same page.
Mechanics, it was also more of the nature of the relationship between the two of you and how you both saw the book and worked together.
Yes, and like I said, so my husband is like, Nikki, you're just bubbly. You tend to love everyone. Make sure you don't pick your agent just because you think they're nice. Because, I mean, that's how I make poor decisions all the time, is because I just think people are nice. And so I did all my research. What?
That's how she became friends with us.
Yeah, I was like, I remember Tiff was like, "Shut up, Nikki, I'm not nice." And
well, I was going to say, I told Nikki she needs to change her perfume.
But so I got the instant great feeling with Carrie. I did all my homework like I was supposed to, researching like I was supposed to, asking the questions like I'm supposed to, calling the people like I'm supposed to. Then at the end of the 2 weeks, I decided, I should just call her again to see if that gut feeling really sticks. And it was that last phone call that just sealed the deal for me. I was like, wow, I'm excited. No doubts, no regrets. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I know that if I ever get...
I can't...
I'm just going to get drunk. And I'm going to put their names in a hat. And that's how I'm going to pick.
Nope.
Well, actually,
got my little guy here. That the first book I published, because he's my little bookworm.
I think it's so nerdy.
So as soon as I publish, I write the name of it on his book.
She's a dork.
It's okay.
About the name in the hat thing, my husband has this ingenious way of making decisions because he is incapable of them, and it involves putting anything into a hat, because what you do is you pick it out of the hat, and you have to gauge your reaction to getting that news to decide whether or not it's right or wrong for you. So when I was going through this process, I really tried so hard to envision myself at each and every one of those agencies and then gauged my reaction. Like, was I happy? Did I have reservations? What were those reservations? And it really took trying to envision that moment. He said I should take a name out of a hat. I didn't. I just did it in my head. But if you want to do the hat thing, I recommend it.
And I'm going to do it while I'm drunk just because.
By the way, Tiff, I don't know if you noticed, but I tagged you on 2 blog posts. If you go to 30nerdyfabulous.wordpress.com, since it's my blog again and not Whiskey, Wine, and Writings, I've been catching up on a lot of blog stuff I've been tagged in, and one is number 8 terrible titles, where you pick the terrible titles, and I tagged Nikki on them too, but I think you already did the Lieberman Award. I got tagged on the number 8 terrible titles, so you got to pick 8 terrible titles from your manuscript, and then I also got tagged for the Lieberman Award.
Wait, like terrible titles that you had for your manuscript?
What you do is you basically scroll through your manuscript, and you just stop at a certain point and pick a phrase, and that's your terrible title. So you go through your manuscript, and you find these terrible titles that could have been not, kind of thing. Like if you look on the blog right now, I've got 8 for Redemption that are just bad. And then I did the Lieberman Award that I was nominated for by Colleen, and I kind of made it funny. I was like, really, you nominated me for this? I don't get an actual award, but I have to work. I have to make up new questions. I have to tag people. I have to answer old questions. How is this an award? So it was a lot of fun. And then I tagged the whole critique group and Nikki, because Nikki's not part of the critique group because she's, awesome and she's already got a deal. She doesn't need us.
Or unneeded.
How do you do the bad titles again? Because I thought maybe I could do one right now.
You go through your manuscript and you just pick out random phrases. Like what I did is I would just hit the, like, if you have the scroll mouse on your wheel, on your mouse, I would just hit it and wait for it to stop, like it was a roulette wheel. And whatever page it was on, whatever my eyes caught first, that's what I would use for it. That was my terrible title. Unless it was like he said or something, then I could move over to something else. So.
My first one is Arms Braced Me. That does not sound like my genre.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's why it's a terrible title, though. Arms Braced Me. There you go. So that's why we do it like that, is because it's terrible titles, and it would just never, ever work for your manuscript.
I don't even want to do this because I use too much foul language in my book, and I'm pretty sure that most of those titles are going to have the word fuck in them.
This makes my book sound so steamy. I got Overbearing Neck Kisses next. I promise you, there's like no romance in my book. There's like one kiss in the whole
bit, but not like that, no.
This is fun. God. I'm excited to do this. Okay, I'm going to close it now. I just wanted to see what it would be like.
So another topic besides Nikki's fantastic news that we will gush over for hours if you let us, we wanted to touch on was NaNoWriMo today because we have passed the midway point. And I will wholeheartedly admit I'm behind. I do have a good excuse.
I'm behind.
Is that I am graduating in 4 weeks. So I am busting my ass in school right now.
So proud.
Very valid and very noble. Like, seriously.
I'm so proud of my girls. One's got a literally.
Are you doing it, Tiff?
One's graduating. All right, so here's the deal. So technically, I am doing NaNoWriMo.
Technically. We're going with technically.
But I have written like 1,000 words, and that's it.
Tiff is having a really big issue writing lately, and we need to get her right. And I told her, I was like, Tiff, just because you're having a hard time writing, you need to keep writing anyway, because that's how you get past it.
Yeah, like it's, you know, life happened, and I just haven't.
Life happened, and you had a meltdown.
I did, and
so now we just need to get her back on the ball because I miss my critique partner, and I miss reading her work.
I miss you too. I
Awesome.
love you.
And, you know, we don't mind having a third permanent host.
Since I was one of the originals. Like
you were.
Yes, you are like the vampire.
Love that back. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you always do that. So the second you're able to come back permanently, that is the day you get added permanently onto all the fun stuff.
You know, I feel it's terrible because it's not. This isn't the first time that I've been the founder of something, and then life happened, and I'm the one that has to walk away from it because, unfortunately, the paranormal stuff that I do, which, by the way, is a far greater passion than writing's ever been, as you know, just to give you a scale, because you guys know how much I love writing. But being a paranormal investigator is what I was meant to do. In life, it's I've been doing it forever, and it's the one thing that I'm very, very good at, without exception. And I started a team back in 2008, and then 2 years ago I walked away to write, and then a year ago I came back out of retirement, and then this happened, and I don't think I've actually talked to my team in probably 4 or 5 months. I walked away from that.
Because we're going to rectify everything, and we're going to make, and she is worth it, and she needs to get back on the ball because her life is her. You know, it could end at any time, and she could lose everything at any time. And now is the only time you're passionate about something and you love something. Go for it. Don't let life hold you back because life can be really shitty.
I know. I'm usually the one giving this speech to people. It's very I will say it's a very eye-opening experience to be.
Well, okay. Let me put this out there for you.
On the other end of this entire speech.
In a way. Let me put this out there for you guys. I'm sure everybody has in one aspect or the other or another. When I turned 30, I was so excited it was ridiculous. I call my 20s my terrible. There was so much tragedy in my 20s, it was ridiculous. From the time I was 17, my best friend died in a car accident, okay? My sister-in-law, who was my sister because I've known her since I was 14, okay, and is my husband's sister, she was born with cystic fibrosis. I was at the hospital in high school so many times after school on so many days, I can't even tell you. Okay, moved to Jacksonville with them because I was still dating my now husband, and she had a double lung transplant. Okay, and then after that, when we thought everything was just getting good and we were starting to get our lives together, and he was becoming a marine mechanic, and I was working and about to start going to school, he gets cancer. My husband had cancer. Luckily, we caught it early, stage 1. Surgery, chemo, knock on wood, been in remission since then. You know, after that, Jen passed away. 5 years after she had the double lung transplant, she passed away. It just, stuff happens, you know. So life, after that, something I don't really talk about, I had a miscarriage. Life happens, but if you let all that stuff hold you down, you're not going to go anywhere. And I had to learn that just the same as you are. I had to learn how to cope and how to not let the bad weigh down my life and hold me back from writing and from going to school. I'm 31 years old, about to get an associate's degree, and then I'm going to get my bachelor's. I don't care how old I am. This is something I want. I'm going to do it. I'm done letting life and its bad parts hold me back.
So proud.
So,
hey,
you know,
I mean, I just graduated with my associates, you know.
Exactly, and it's all about, yes, bad things happen, but you can't let them hold you back. You have to learn to grieve, accept it, and then move on with your life because you're still living, you're still breathing. And if you don't live, what's the point?
Yeah, you know, and I'll agree with that, you know, but it's, you know, and everybody does it differently. I mean, in all honesty, this is, you know, I know I'll get back to it eventually, but I also know that I'm one of those people that I have to do it, especially with writing. Like, I have to do it when I'm ready to do it, because if
Absolutely.
not, I'm gonna put out shit. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, I'm gonna pump out so much pointless shit that'll never get published. It'll be the most terrible shit on the planet, and it's because...
Look, if you guys want to laugh, I still have The Truth About Blueberries on my blog, which is if you actually read it, it makes everybody laugh, and it's not even probably written that well because I wrote it a few years ago and I haven't looked at it since, but it's just a really quick short story about a chick who dies because of a blueberry condom. I'm just going there, okay? So it's a little weird and a little funny. What? Go read it, Nikki.
Nikki, just read it. It's hilarious.
I'm excited.
You know, seriously, and Kim is a fantastic writer, and she really will be published one day. And like I said, you just have to learn to get through it in your own way, in your own time, and you will. And I just have faith that you will. And I just, you know.
You know, here's the other reason that I'm not working on the auction block right now. And I haven't really talked about this simply because, you know, we don't put up my problems out on the internet because I don't like to do that. But obviously, I'm going through relationship issues. So the bulk of what I write is romance. And right now, in my personal life, as far as where romance is concerned and where love is concerned, as bad as it sounds, I'm just agitated with that whole thing in relationships. And if I sit down and continue right now, if I were to write, it would be Gallows. With the mood that I have been in and everything that's going on, like if I continue to write Gallows, I can tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to split Lily and Blake up for good. I'm going to kill one of them, and then I'm detrimentally ruin the other.
You know, here's the thing: you can use that to write something else, like a short story or something. I mean, if that's what you're feeling and you're looking to put that into some characters, write a short story. Am I wrong, Nikki?
Oh, that for sure. I feel like the best. This is going to sound totally sadistic. The best writing is when you're in pain. A lot of, like in The Truth About Two Shoes, when I was writing it, I was really angry. I was really, really angry. It's a funny book, but I was angry. And I remember thinking, man, I hope this isn't my first book because people are going to be like, what made her write it this way and about this subject? And I was very angry, and it came out great. Like, you know? So I think if you channel your anger, it's going to be probably the most awesome, deep, heart-wrenching, powerful thing, and you'll feel better too. Writing's that great avenue for that.
I know. I tend to, Tasha's trying to get me out of it. I tend to be one of those people when I can deal with a lot of stress. Like, I mean, if you look at my past and the fact that I was an addict, the fact that I was an alcoholic, all that and
So
other
I'm
things,
drinking
I can
Donadio.
deal with a really high stress level. Like, I usually work really well under stress. The more stressed out I am, the better I tend to perform at doing anything. My last semester in college, for example, I pulled the best grades of my entire 3 years at the community college. And my last semester in college, I was pregnant and had to take 2 weeks off because I went into labor with my son. So, and it was the best it was the best I had done. And I had to miss 2 weeks of class, still pull the best grades of my college stint, and missing 2 weeks from all four of my classes. One of them was a math class. Still ended up pulling all A's and B's, best I've ever done. And the whole time that whole semester, I was knocked up and could barely walk, and then ended up giving birth to my son during that semester. So I tend to work well under pressure. But I'm one of those people when that stress level gets past the boiling point, like the point of like here, I'm one of those people. I shut down. And unfortunately, Tasha's getting the front end of that because I think in the last 3 months, her and I have talked on Skype maybe 5 times.
But I'm always here for you, and you know that.
Yeah,
I just
I know
leave
you.
it on your time right now because I know you have a lot going on.
But it is, but that just like it really shows that I got to that point. I mean, Tasha's been telling me, she's like, everybody on Twitter misses you and da da da, and I see that because I do still check my Twitter. I have over 700 followers. I don't know where the fuck you people are coming from, by the way, but thank you for following me. But I don't know where the fuck you're coming from.
Oh, we have followers. Give it a month. Nikki's gonna blow us out of the water. Okay.
I know, right?
Nikki with her news, and Tiff, you heard the part where this agency, Donadio and Olson, they represent Chuck Palahniuk, right?
Wait.
Okay. Fight Club. What?
Pretty fucking epic, sons.
He's gonna blow up. She's gonna become a superstar, and she's gonna be like, yeah, so I know I was a host on Whiskey, Wine, and Writing for like a month, but my book sold, and I'm famous now, and they're turning it into a movie.
No. If my book sells, I'll be like, yay, I can do Whiskey, Wine, and Writing full time.
Except now you're expected to write another book and, be on the set for the movie so you can make sure everything's going well.
Oh.
I want to be casted in your movie. That's it. If you get a movie, I want to be
extras. All 3 of us. Oh my God!
Sure.
We're gonna be there, and we're gonna be in the background. Nobody's gonna even notice us. Okay, we're gonna be people in a certain scene. I want to call out, but I can't because I can't say anything. But
we're gonna be extras 5, 6, and 7.
What? Wig and be the old lady for that one scene. Do you know what I'm talking about, Nikki?
The old lady at church.
Yes.
Who's like, what are you do, dear?
I want to be her. I want to put on a gray wig and have old people makeup done. And I want to be her. Can I be her? Please?
Whatever makes you happy. I don't think authors get that much say in their movies.
Blind old lady who used to babysit her.
Oh, your husband's so cute. Even though you're 16 and I know you all your life. Okay.
Even though the guy next to you is giving you scathing looks, but that's okay.
Speaking of casting people in the movie, maybe this is like my one pessimistic part of myself.
My eyes are watering because I'm about to sneeze again.
Bless you in advance. So like, John Green is filming Paper Towns in my state right now, and he wrote it 9 years ago. So in my head, I'm like, man, I need to scout out Disney actors. So I have my actors picked out, but they're 5 and 6 years old right now. That's not creepy. I promise. You have kids? Do your kids watch the Disney Channel?
My kids do watch the Disney Channel.
So maybe you know this.
You guys know really quick before she goes on. The plan is basically I'm going off my birth control next month.
Oh Christ!
What happens. So we'll see.
Yay!
Maybe one of your kids can be in my movie, since by that time they'll be teenagers.
Awesome! I'd be like, here, make me money. That sounds terrible. Oh my God.
Nikki, you can just put my kids in your movie because they're 7 and 4,
Sweet.
Almost 2.
You'll
have it.
Beautiful.
Yes, I'm fairly aware of what's going on the Disney Channel. I do try to tune it out at times, just because it's the Disney Channel.
So, but you know what? I'm gonna just put it out there. I love the Disney Channel. I don't watch any of like the new shows or anything, but I love Disney movies.
You're a dork. Complete dork.
Yes, but we knew this. This is not anything new. My blog is 30 Nerdy Fabulous. Come on.
All right. True story. Is Nikki frozen? Nikki!
She does look frozen.
Go. Vamos.
Nikki, come back to us.
My kids totally just belly bumped each other as they were going in the living room.
That's awesome.
Like, just straight up, we're like,
I think Nikki got frozen. That's no bueno. But while she's away, I want to say how proud I am of her because I know how hard she works on this. And I mean, the girl worked a full-time job and did this. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy in any sense or way of the form. And I don't think it's easy either if you get multiple offers. But like she said, a lot of it comes down to your gut. Because not only is it about the vision of your book, it's about how you're going to work together, you know?
Yeah. I mean, picking an agent, I mean, that's probably one of the, picking an agent in a publishing house is, I mean, those are the two most serious things you're ever going to do as a writer. I mean, that's the truth. And if you ever decide, you're going to leave one literary agent for another, I mean, it's not an easy decision to make. It's
Nikki said she broke the internet, so apparently she's the new Kim Kardashian. And she will be back soon. She's like, I'm coming. So when Nikki comes back, we need to call her Kim.
Awesome. So what do you want to talk about while she's away, Tosh?
Well, I'm not sure. NaNoWriMo, I know we're past the halfway mark. And Tiff is obviously way behind, but you know what? Tiff also wrote, like, 110,000 word novel in 13 days. So if she tries to tell me that she still can't win NaNoWriMo, I'm going to call her a liar. So I'm saying that
was like a one-time thing.
Wait. I was talking about your short story before. I think that NaNoWriMo might be your outlet to write and vent all this anger you have into a new story. Nikki, I see you.
Joyce, get off of your sister's back. She is not a horse.
That's Nikki, you're muted. Unmute your mic.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
I broke the internet.
What's up, Kim? Yeah. How you doing, Kim?
You broke the internet, huh? All right.
Won't be posting for that one. That'd be the worst author photo for my book ever. Does not scream young adult fiction.
Does not scream young adult at all. Oh yeah, we probably should have said that is her genre, young adult, because I don't think we've mentioned that throughout the entire thing, other than you wrote about a 15-year-old girl. But we're putting it out there now.
I don't know why I said 15. I think my next character is 15 in my new book.
She's like 16, almost 17, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, and Truth About Two Shoes, she's 16. In my new book, she's 15, I think. Or at least her stalker is 15. It's very complicated. I'm a little tired.
Change your perfume. It's a running joke I have with Nikki that she needs to change her perfume. She knows what I'm talking about. Even if the rest of the world doesn't, she knows what I'm talking about.
Nikki, you said you have a stalker in your book, in the new one?
Yes. So my new book. I'm excited about it.
You need to watch the show Stalker. Like, you got to do some good research.
No.
There's the new TV show.
I don't need research. The book is actually based off something that happened to me.
You had a stalker? That's so awesome.
I did.
But since we're putting it out there, yeah, apparently what Nikki doesn't remember is I told her to change her perfume from Ode to Stalker because she gets a lot of people who want to follow her. And
yes, I do remember that.
That's why I'm like, change your perfume from Ode to Stalker and find something new, because apparently you just attract them like, honey attracts bees.
Nikki, can I be your stalker?
It's called being an empath. Apparently, being an empath, I just, I'm like, hey, I love people, and then everyone's like, oh, you love me, and then there's people who are like, oh, you love me, and that's what I find out. So When I was in college, I went through a semi-traumatic experience that came out okay, and I always wanted to write about it, but I kind of only write in a young adult voice, and I'm like, well, it's college, how am I ever going to put it into my genre? And it came to me recently that I was just going to set my character into boarding school, and it works out great. But hello, Stalker, I'm sure you're watching this.
Wow, she put it there. Hi, Stalker.
Like, hi, Stalker.
Well, see, here, the reason why it's an interesting book is the truth. The truth is, I never considered who my school considered a stalker. I never considered him really a stalker. So the school decided I was in danger, basically whisked me away to mandated therapy while they took care of the situation, and I was like surrounded by police for months, and it turned into this just crazy thing, and they had to convince me that he was dangerous. So my book is about something similar with a twist.
Well, of course.
And
There's always a twist.
Twist on the show one day now, so we can talk about twists and plots. Can we do that?
Yeah.
What?
So like I could maybe watch the stalker thing. I try not to watch too many stalker things just because of that experience. So I'm really just pulling from
Stalker now that I love.
What?
It's all about a task force that is to help people who are being stalked. It's got the chick who played Nikita in it.
Yeah. The new show.
The show actually, and it's got the guy like okay, and I'm so sorry I never know actors' names, but he was from the original season of American Horror Story. He played the dad. He always plays like these twisted or creepy roles, and I love him. And he's in it as well. It's crazy. It's a really, really good show.
You know, it is a fantastic show.
It sounds like I'll have nightmares.
Yeah, let's
I'm like
have nightmares. I might be going
it sounds great,
in the morning.
but I won't be able to sleep at night. Bless you.
You okay?
So I brought it to my place now so you can sneeze. He's muted. So now we dance. I'm distracting them from her sneezing. This is how you know it's been an hour. Did she freeze during her sneeze, or did she?
Nope, she's
die?
good.
No, I muted my mic.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And oh my God, it has been.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it for our show tonight because it should have been like 2 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. But I mean, talking about getting signed and the ups and downs of life and how it can. I mean, I think it's been a good episode. I think it's been a really good
because
episode.
Nikki is
And I want to say it out loud for the public to see. Congratulations, Nikki. I love you. I'm so proud of you. And I better have a signed first edition when it's all said and done. That's all I got to say.
I'm with her.
Thank you. And I'll definitely say it. Hopefully in person, because I would love to like connect at a conference and stuff.
Yes. So be on the lookout for us, guys. Everything is coming together for the website and the page and everything like that. And hopefully we'll get Tiffany to be here more often, too. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. We love you all. Have a wildly creative night. And we'll see you Monday night with Rhonda Helms. Have a good one.